and you've been pilloried with it, with these false allegations made against you. The fact is that you've said you've resigned, which you hadn't done. Statements released, you've been ridiculed, harassed. Can I ask you, did the Prime Minister and did the Communications Minister and the Finance Minister know of what you were going through, and did you try to make contact with them?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did not try to make contact with the Prime Minister, but I think you will find, and Teresa will tell me the exact page in my main submission, I think it's Appendix 5, you will see a chain of correspondence between myself, Senator Birmingham, and Minister Fletcher, and I spoke with Minister...
You were begging for a meeting with them, weren't you, for days?
I spoke.
You didn't get a response.
In fairness, I spoke to Minister Birmingham after I sent him that email. He suggested that I forwarded that email to Minister Fletcher, and he offered to organise a meeting to help me get resolution. And I think if you read that note, and I apologise in advance that it is rambling, and it was rambling because I was seriously ill. I was on temazepam. I was suicidal. That's why it was rambling. And Simon Birmingham and I used to co-chair the Trade Board together. So I knew him independently of his role as Minister of Finance. And that's why I sought his help. He'd just been made the head of the Senate. And so I wrote to him and said, surely now that you're Minister of Finance, Minister of Trade and head of the Senate, you will help me get a resolution and stop what's happening to me. I honoured everything, Senator Hanson, they asked me to do. I just asked to be treated with respect.
Can I just clarify? You said that he offered to organise a meeting.
Yes, that's correct.
But that never eventuated?
No, and I think if you look into my evidence, you will see a copy of the text message. So he suggested I wrote to Minister Fletcher. I was away on holiday at the time, actually, when I did the call with him. So I wrote to him on the Monday morning. You will see that I had a phone call with him at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, November the 25th. That afternoon, I chaired the Trade Board for him. Unfortunately, he got tied up with the Cabinet and couldn't make it. You will see after my phone call that morning with him, I write to Minister Fletcher, and he did say to me on that phone call to give him a few days. It would take him a bit of time. He had 3 jobs. But I didn't hear anything back. And so I'm pretty much sure, but Teresa can correct me, it was Saturday, December the 5th, when I still hadn't heard anything back, which felt like a lifetime when you're going through hell, by the way. I text Simon Birmingham on his private mobile and asked him, I heard nothing back, and when could we have the meeting? I received no reply.
Okay, thank you. Senator Hanson, have you got... we can come back around, but we do need to move on to other questions. So just last one.
Ask, what I think is very important, what Senator Carr went into the BCG, and I think is very important. I would like to follow that up with you. But I think what's very important is that the day of your resignation that you actually gave, and the chair came back to you and he wanted an alteration of agreement that you actually would not take up any other employment. You could not speak about Australia Post. He actually was putting to you untenable suggestions on how to sign off on this, and you disagreed to that. Can you just explain what he wanted you to do?
Absolutely. Senator, at the last estimates, I am aware that Senator Canavan specifically asked the chair on this, and he said there was no variation. Again, I will, Teresa will tell us in one moment, but detailed in my main submission in the appendices is the letter that they wrote to me. They very carefully worded that, but you will see it says a variation to contract. You've already pointed out in my contract on 14.1 that it requires signature from both of us to have a variation. And in it, there are a set of words. Which page is it, Teresa?
I'm just trying to get it.
Could I just take a moment just to give you the right exact page? There's a lot of pages. It is in page... No, it is not.
Take your time. It's fine.
Is this the letter from Australia Post, the one on 24th of October? No, it's before.
It's on page
It's after that.
69 of my main submission. Thank you, Senator. So if you look at page 69, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was in a state of absolute distress. I had given them a copy of a statement I intended to make because I wanted to prove to them I was doing the right thing by them, the government, and the company, that I wasn't just trying to get some kind of agreement and go out and back them all. And then to have that leaked, it was pretty soul-destroying. But nothing could be worse that they put out their own statement and then came back to me at 4:15 in the afternoon. And you will note there are words there right at the bottom. It says, or any other financial compensation from Australia Post. Well, my lawyer, Brian Belling, who's sitting here, instructed me not to sign the letter for 3 reasons. He said the letter was ambiguous, that it wasn't clear that they were releasing me immediately, as I'd asked, particularly because of my health. He said the letter he felt was unlawful because it didn't actually suggest I'd get statutory payments, but he was particularly concerned because this was an added clause on top of those inside my contract, and he was concerned that they would defame me inside the investigation process, and without that ability to actually hold them account and potentially take legal action against them, then actually I would be left completely vulnerable. I didn't sign it, and I think their actions, were evidence in the following weeks that we had every right for concern.